First tonight, it was a clash of the communities this morning as members of the Christian faith took to the streets to protest a Pride Bahamas human rights march. Plus, the St. Anne's MP raising questions tonight over government's recent land surveyance ceremony. We'll tell you his biggest concerns. And later, the junior minister of tourism representing the Bahamas in Barbados. We'll tell you all about her experience and her message to youth across the country. We've got the details for these stories and more as Our News Weekend starts now. This is Our News Weekend. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm Megan Shepard. Well, it was a clash of two communities this morning as members of Pride Bahamas were met by members of the Christian faith outside of the University of the Bahamas. October is observed by members of the LGBTQIA as Pride Month. And now, in its sixth year, the group held their second Human Rights March. But first, they came face to face with outspoken members of Church United in Christ in opposition of the march. Our Danielle Miller was there.
An interesting scene here at the University of the Bahamas on Saturday morning. On one end, members of the LGBTQ community, and on the other, members of the Christian community.
Members of Pride Bahamas organization and members of Churches United in Christ assembling for the Human Rights March. But both for different reasons. The march, a part of a list of activities on the Pride Bahamas calendar. Supporters of the LGBTQIA community showed up to participate in the march, while members of Churches United in Christ came to protest. Second Vice Chair of Pride Bahamas, Mactair Farrington, clarifying that there is a misconception that the demonstration is solely for members of the LGBTQIA community. He says, in fact, it is a march for all groups whose human rights are being violated.
It's also about any marginalized groups here. So they've been fighting, you see women fighting for women's rights, people fighting for people here out in the diaspora, like the Haitians or the migrant communities, the poverty-stricken people. So it's not just the LGBTI affairs.
And it was not long after this interview, the two groups clashed.
Anybody tell you what to present? Did anybody tell you what to do, Carol? But God, it's God, not love. Hold on, but it's God, Carol, not love. We already told you what we want.
During the chaos, Farrington describing supporters of Churches United in Christ as rogue members of the country's faith organization.
The Christian Council isn't out today. These are two pastors or prophets. They came out, they went rogue from the Christian Council.
Directors of Churches United in Christ, Prophetess Reverend Dr. Patrice T. Smith and Pastor Carol Moss refuting the claim, telling media their group's intention was not to incite a war, but to spread the gospel.
We are not in competition or in direct contention to the Christian Council. The guardrails of the church is that we are to stand in holiness and decree and declare, thus saith the Lord. Now, yes, of course, they're doing some things that are seemingly good, but the foundation of it all is evil.
Our Bible speaks against this.
That's right.
So because our Bible speaks against this,
right,
then we speak against it.
Absolutely.
Hallelujah.
I love y'all.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Danielle Miller.
Thanks so much, Danielle. St. Anne's Member of Parliament Adrian White is raising questions over government's recent land surveyance ceremony after the Davis administration officially handed over land titles during a ceremony in Fox Hill last month. Housing Minister Keith Bell says through the compulsory acquisition, families who are entitled to the land would be able to acquire it in the housing minister's name, who would then give it back to residents for a small fee. But White, speaking outside of Parliament this week to reporters, raised these questions.
Normally, eminent domain is exercised when there's land that is being acquired for either beach access or for expansion of our infrastructure, such as roads. This is the first time it's gone into a particular community. As a former chairman of the Town Planning Committee, what I would also find with applicants in Fox Hill and what's important for this development is not just that the Minister of Housing gives title, stamps title, records title for the people, but that they install the necessary utilities. So that's properly paved roads, that's water and sewage connections, that's utility poles and electricity.
White also expressing frustration with the Boundaries Commission. And with a general election looming, there's been no report.
The decision's really taking too long. I don't think the public has any doubt why and what the present government is up to, even though it's under the parliamentary registrar. But the FNM has a strong seat in St. Anne's. When Perry Christie last changed the boundaries, which was the last time the boundaries were changed, to me it seemed like they put every single polling division that would ultimately come out as an FNM polling division into one seat. And that's why you see St. Anne's is a massive constituency running through parts of Fox Hill, running through parts of Camperdown, runs all the way around along the coast of Yamacraw.
Meantime, Water and Sewage Corporation General Manager Cyprian Gibson says works along Joe Farrington Road are moving along smoothly, with major progress expected before month's end. Gibson says crews have been steadily advancing the installation of new water mains along the heavily traveled corridor. He added that by the end of October, the team expects to begin transitioning customers to the new line, a key step before paving the road.
We anticipate primarily by the end of this month, we should commence transition from the new main that has been laid and to tie in all of the other customers. And so that process continues to move along, and we're looking forward to that. Shortly thereafter, our Ministry of Works, because we coordinated with them, they are ready to go once our works are completed. So shortly thereafter will be the road paving.
Well, Youth, Sports and Culture Minister Mario Bolite says the Junkanoo issue is not political, accusing Free National Movement leader Michael Pintard of looking for votes. It comes after Pintard said government should take a step back from Junkanoo and allow Junkanooers to manage the cultural event. He also suggested government should hold a conclave in January to get to the bottom of the matter and set a clear way forward. But Bolite said the changes in the upcoming parades followed a democratic process.
The groups decided, not the ministry, not the minister. And if the opposition leader will be true to himself and stop looking for brownie points to try to win an election, he will understand that if a democratic process takes place the day tomorrow, if we call a general election and it takes place the day tomorrow, you think if the coalition wins the government, what we can say? Call a next election? That don't make sense to me. I think he's looking for love in the wrong places.
The National Junkanoo Committee now has responsibility for parade management in the upcoming Boxing Day and New Year's Day Junkanoo parades. The JCNP threatened to have its own parades should the government not reverse its decision. Boleg revealed in a press conference Friday that parade management will be chaired by Douglas Hanna. But Pintard believes back and forth between both sides is unhealthy and unhelpful.
The opposition leader is looking for votes. That's what he's doing. He's looking for votes because he's making this political. This is not political. There's a democratic process that took place. That's what I think that happened, and I think we need to understand the democratic process.
Well, the Office of the Spouse of the Prime Minister is looking to expand access to a wider range of menstrual products across the country amid growing calls for affordability and choice. That's according to wife of the Prime Minister, Anne-Marie Davis. The focus comes after advocacy from Equality Bahamas for the government to address the high cost and limited variety of feminine hygiene products. Speaking on the sidelines of the launch of the D6 Project documentary earlier this week, Davis said efforts are underway to introduce menstrual cups and period underwear to better meet the needs of women and girls.
We do need some more diversity. For example, we have swimmers. It would be better to use cups. Right now they use tampons. But using the cups is much better. As swimming becomes, especially we're going to be introducing swimming in just about all the schools around the Bahamas, we definitely need the menstrual cups.
She added that her office is considering new options to accommodate different users. She highlighted students involved in swimming programs and the elderly living in facilities.
The underwear would be, I think it's more conducive to the elderly in their homes. You know, we do need to diversify some more. And my office, I plan to bring some more of those items in, because we have to be dignified in everything we do. We have to have we have to be well prepared for all the different occasions that we have, the different activities that are facing us.
When our News Weekend comes back from the break, meeting the needs of women in the community, we'll tell you how the wife of the Prime Minister intends to make access to feminine hygiene products more affordable. Plus, epic performances equals epic celebrations. Cable Bahamas group of companies celebrating top performers of the quarter. We've got the details right after this break.
They're blue for me and you, and I say to myself, what a wonderful
The tragic, suspected suicide of a 34-year-old mother of two once again shining a spotlight on the mental health crisis gripping the nation. Mental health advocates say the recent death underscores the urgent need to take emotional wellness seriously. Cherish Hollingsworth, head of upper school counseling and faculty advisor for the Girls Empowerment Club at Windsor, says while the country has made strides in education and social programs, mental health remains underfunded and overlooked.
Every national issue that we face has started in a community, on a community level, where communities needed help. In that community, the issue began in a family, because a family needed help that the community was unaware of. And in that family, it started with one person in crisis who went unnoticed, one mother of two who went unnoticed. And now she becomes a statistic. Now she is a part of this community crisis that is also a national crisis. And it's not that we are not paying attention. I believe that we are not tapping in deep enough to the resources that we have that are readily available, because I know that there are mental health resources, but they're not accessible.
Hollingsworth says many families simply can't afford private therapy and are often unaware of the limited public resources available. She's calling for mental health care to be made a line item in the national budget, while encouraging schools to serve as safe spaces for emotional support.
We have to begin to tackle the mental health pandemic and the crisis, or we will continue to see suicide, we will continue to see rapes, we will continue to see molestation. The boys and girls that are in Simpson Pen, in Cynthia Mother Pratt, what are they doing with them? Are they holding them? Are we turning them out into society? Are they a part of diversion programs where behaviors can be redirected and not repeated? What are we doing? I am not condemning the government. I'm asking hard questions because I want to see a better country.
All right, well, Cable Bahamas group of companies awarding top employees for the quarter yesterday during our signature Epic Awards. Our Danielle Miller was there and she gives us the highlights.
The quarterly Epic Awards made its return with dozens of nominees and long-standing employees all being recognized on this stage by their fellow colleagues.
The excitement was infectious at the British Colonial Hotel. Executives and team members of Cable Bahamas group of companies gathering to highlight top performers of the quarter in the categories of employee, supervisor, and manager. The winners of each category would then advance to the finale of the Epic Awards to be named Employee, Supervisor, and Manager of the Year. Nominated in the Supervisor category, our very own Studio and OB Supervisor, Nathaniel Conliffe. Although he was not named Supervisor of the Quarter, he says he's content with the fact his work does not go unnoticed.
My manager has seen the work that I've put in, and it feels as though that the work that I've put in is not taken for granted.
The company's high performers were not the only awards of recognition that were handed out. Long-standing employees were also given their flowers, like receptionist Dorel Marshall. With 15 years of employment at CBL, she says her small role holds a great impact.
I feel myself as the face of the organization, and so me knowing the ins and outs of the organization, be able to direct the persons that come in to visit our area,
The climax of the event was witnessing our newly appointed Group Vice President of Human Resources, Keishla Knowles, give remarks at the awards for the first time in her new role. Knowles, who was recently promoted from Director of Human Resources, says her elevation is a reflection of how the company seeks to reward epic behaviors.
This is a fulfillment of, what I do every single day. So even though the role has changed, my commitment, my passion, what I bring to the table and what I want to see coming from Cable Bahamas has not changed. So the only change is the title.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Danielle Miller.
Still to come on Our News Weekend, the junior Minister of Tourism making her mark at an international competition in Barbados. We'll tell you how that experience deepened her faith that children truly are the future. But first,
the ITF Goombay Splash is set to welcome top tennis players from around the world, and one of our best hits the track for one final time this season. Our Sports Weekend is up next.
They're blue for me and you, and I say to myself, what a wonderful world.
Good evening, I'm Tej Adderley, and we are back with our Sports Weekend. The Bahamas Lawn Tennis Association will welcome the best young international talent right here to our shores. Officials made that announcement yesterday. Tennis's governing body in the country announced yesterday that they will partner with the International Tennis Federation to host the ITF Goombay Splash at the National Tennis Center right here in New Providence. The tournament will see the top boys and girls players ages 13 to 18 from around the world compete to find out who's the best. The tournament will run from November 24th to the 29th, and any players who wish to participate must be 13 by the first day of the event and be registered with the ITF. And this is a great opportunity for local players to test their skills and get exposure against the rest of the world. Check out the BLTA social media pages for instructions on how to sign up. And now we're on to the track where one of our greats made her final appearance for the season. Devin Charlton ran in the Athlos NYC meet last night at iChan Stadium in Manhattan, New York. She ran in the 100-meter hurdles, finishing fourth in a time of 12.71 seconds, over 0.2 of a second off her season's best 12.49 that she ran a couple weeks ago at the World Athletics Championships in Tokyo. Her training partner, Masai Russell, came in first in 12.52 seconds. Grace Stark came second in 12.60 seconds, and Alicia Johnson came third in 12.66 seconds. Athlos is a pretty cool concept. It's a women's-only series of meets where teams compete to accrue total points. It was launched by athletes Shakari Richardson, Gabby Thomas, and Tara Davis Woodhall, with funding from Alexis Ohanian, husband of Serena Williams, as a way to highlight and elevate women's sports. And that event sounds like a lot of fun, even if you're not a track fan. Now Charlton may be all done for the season, but she's going to get prepared for indoor season early next year. And just like Devin, we're all done around here for now. For our Sports Weekend, I'm Tej Adderley. I'll see you again tomorrow night.
On the other side of this break, it's time for your weekend weather check with meteorologist Ian McKinsey. He's got your extended forecast when Our News Weekend continues.
They're blue for me and you, and I say to myself, what a wonderful world.
Welcome back, everyone. Here's a look now at your forecast. Currently outside our studios, we're under intermittent clouds, but the temperature is 79. The rain is coming tonight, folks. Wind southerly 15 north, feels like at 87 miles per hour. Temperatures across the country. In Freeport, we have 79, as well as in Great Harbor Key and in the capital, 78 in Marsh Harbor, 79 in Nicholstown, 81 in Allenstown, 80 in Governor's Harbor, 80s continuing in Camps Bay as well. 82 in Arthurstown, Coburn Town. 83 in Georgetown and Deadman's Key, as well as Port Nelson, Rumkey. 81 in Black Point, Exuma. Southeast Bahamas, 83s continuing in Duncantown, Ragged Island. Set of 84s in Colonel Hill, Delectable Bay. 85 in Matthewtown and Abrahams Bay, Meguana. 86, the usual hotspot, Providenciales, Turks and Caicos. Satellite and radar imagery at this time. Very interesting weather out there. We have a prefrontal trough ahead of a slow-moving cold front. This prefrontal trough will enhance lots of showers and thunderstorms across our area tonight and even into early tomorrow. We hope that it gets out here. A lot of activity planned for the weekend. Take a look now at the tropics, where we still have Jerry out there. Jerry is pretty weak at this time, still trying to struggle up north only as a tropical storm, and it should be out of the area, pretty much a fish storm. Elsewhere, National Hurricane Center is monitoring an area of disorganized showers and thunderstorms. This system has about a 40% chance, so we want to continue to monitor that in the upcoming week. Boarding forecast, rough one for the night into tomorrow. Small craft advisory in the northwest and central Bahamas. Risk of rip currents. Swimmers stay out the water. Winds west-southwest, west-northwest, 15 to 25 seas, 5 to 8 feet in those north to northeasterly swells. High tide at 12:07, low tide at 6:15 a.m. In the southeast Bahamas, not much better. Small craft caution in place. Wind southerly 15 to 20 seas, 4 to 7 feet in those easterly swells. In your extended forecast, that slow-moving cold front could put some shower activity into our forecast tomorrow, getting into Monday as well, clearing out by Wednesday. The next front pushing in by the end of the week should clear out by Saturday. Those highs in the mid to upper 80s, low temperatures in the mid to upper 70s. That's a wrap evening forecast. Make it a great, safe, fun night, everyone.
All right, thanks so much, Ian. Well, back in May, Zaria Ingram, a student of Mary Star of the Sea Catholic Academy, claimed the national title of Junior Minister of Tourism 2025. An initiative of the Ministry of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, Ingram spent her summers with the team at the Grand Bahama office, an experience she says was filled with pleasant surprises.
The first pleasant surprise was how welcoming the Ministry of Tourism was to me. I know I'm not in the age category of everyone else there. So yes, I am a teenager, but they didn't really make me feel like a teenager. They made me feel like I was a part of the team and that my opinion mattered, and that was very big for me because I was very nervous about going there. Another thing that I was surprised about was how well they can eat. It's so great because I love to eat too.
But Zaria was also hard at work preparing for the Caribbean Tourism Organization's 21st Regional Tourism Youth Congress held in Barbados.
It was very rigorous, especially leading up to the competition, but I feel like it was all worth it because I had my speech memorized. I can give you my speech right now with no cue cards. And when the competition itself, like I said, I arrived 2 days late, but the people there from all the other countries, especially the junior ministers and commissioners of tourism, they were very welcoming.
And although she did not walk away victorious, Zaria says she did walk away with a renewed confidence in a personal mantra that she believes the children are the future.
Especially listening to the other junior ministers and commissioners of tourism give their speeches, we have a lot of great creative ideas. They, alongside I, was able to think outside of the box and come up with these new ideas that you wouldn't even imagine, things that just wouldn't come into your brain. So I feel like the voices of our youth are very important. It is Youth Month, Youth Voices Unlocked. We definitely do need to unlock those voices and hear those ideas.
She says she's looking forward to continuing her work alongside the tourism team, doing her part to boost the local industry.
I want to meet some more tourists, get to hear some stories of people around the world. I love to hear people's stories. I love to hear why did you choose to come to the Bahamas?
Here's her advice to other young people.
Always remain yourself, always remain authentic. I say this all the time, but it's something I stand by. Never let anyone dim your light. Never let anyone change who you are, because who you are will get you very far in the world.
Great advice, Zaria. And with that, we thank you so much for joining us for our News Weekend. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Megan Shepherd. Have a safe and wonderful evening. Hey guys, Megan Shepherd here. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to click that subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. Just click right over here. And don't forget to turn on your notifications so you stay up to date with content like this from the team you already trust.